What's up, everybody? Welcome to another video. Hope you're ready to flex those brain muscles today on some Khan Academy. I'm here in Algebra 1 on Unit 8, Functions. Functions are probably the most important concept in math, so you should be on here practicing some of this stuff. And I just made a bunch of videos on domain and range, so that's what we're going to do today in this video. Introduction to the domain and range of a function. We got some videos here. I got some videos on my channel. And we're going to practice finding domain and range from a graph. So let me go ahead and move my camera here so we can see. Boom. There we go. Awesome. What is the range of h? We are given the graph of h here. So remember, domain is the set of all the x coordinates represented on the graph. The range is the set of all the y coordinates represented on the graph. So with range, what I said in my video is sometimes it's helpful. Hit the head tilt. Tilt your head 90 degrees to the left. Why does this help? Because now to the left are smaller numbers, to the right are bigger numbers, and it's a lot easier, I've found at least, for kids to identify the range if they tilt their head, or if they're holding a paper, you could tilt the paper. You know, I'm kind of doing too much here, but that's all right. The range, so I'm going to tilt my head. I see a smallest y value of -6. Is that the smallest? Yep, that's -5, that's -3. So -6 is the smallest, and everything is represented. Y value, y coordinate, all the way up until 1, including 1. So we have a smallest, we have a biggest, and we have everything in between. So there's a couple ways we can write this. One is we can say the range is this set here from -6 to 1, including the endpoints, which is why we have brackets. We can also use some kind of like set builder notation or use inequalities. We can say the y values, right? So we can say the y values are bigger than or equal to -6, but less than or equal to 1. And this is the set of all the y values or y coordinates. So I think on Khan Academy here, it looks like we're going to see some inequalities, which is totally fine. And it looks like they're actually using this h of x notation for outputs, which is probably what I should be doing. I like to just use y. So -6 to 1, boom, this entire interval. Let's see, why are they trying to trick us here? Why would they list out numbers? This should be obviously wrong, right? Cross out B, cross out C. And I imagine, yep, that's the domain. So they're trying to see, can you tell the difference between those two? So boom, we got it. That's the range. All right, now the domain. The domain is the set of all the x coordinates. So we don't have to tilt our head. We're scanning from left to right. I see a smallest x coordinate of -7 that shows up on the graph, and every one is represented. So I'm drawing like vertical lines here, moving right and drawing vertical lines. Are they connecting with the point on the graph? Yes, 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 all the way up until +7. So we have a smallest x coordinate of -7, a biggest of +7, and all the x coordinates in between show up as a point on the graph. So I'm going to say from -7 to +7, that is my final answer. Boom. All right, what is the range of this function? Let's hit the head tilt. Boom, -7 is the smallest. -7, that's included. And these are all represented. Now I'm drawing horizontal lines. This connects to a point, connects to a point, connects to a point, all the way up until the y value of 4. That's the biggest. So we have a smallest of -7, a biggest of 4, and everything in between is represented as a y coordinate on the graph. So from -7 to 4, we're going to use this inequality notation, less than or equal to. Boom. Let's see, how are they trying to trick us here? From -4 to 4, why would someone pick that? I always try to figure out like the tricky answers, the distractors, right? So one of these has got to be range, or sorry, domain. Yeah, that one's going to be domain. And I'm not quite sure how they're trying to trick us. Oh, that one's from -3 to 4. I see. So it's like if we just look at the two, oh, I could see a kid doing that. I see a point here, a point here. That's -3, that's 4. So we're identifying like these filled in points instead of thinking of smallest and biggest y value. Awesome. Sorry, I went off on a tangent there. Let's lock in. What is the domain of this function? We have a bunch of isolated points. Remember, domain is the set of all the x coordinates. We only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points here. There's going to be 5 x coordinates. We can go and eliminate A and B. These are intervals. That would mean like every number between -2 and 6, every number between -5 and 7. So that aligns with the examples we've seen so far where they're continuous, right? They're curves. You put a pencil down, you could draw the entire graph. This is not. It's a bunch of isolated points, so it's got to be either C or D here. I see x coordinates of -2, -1, 1, 5, 6. And so that aligns with answer choice D, final answer. Boom. All right, more isolated points. This time we are finding the range of this function. So now I'm thinking about y coordinates here. I see a y coordinate of -3. We could tilt our head. I don't know if it helps that much here, but it is nice to go from smallest to biggest. So -3, -2, 2, and then 4. And I like that they gave this example. I gave one like this in my video. We don't list out 4 twice when we're listing a set. We don't repeat elements. So there's only going to be 4 elements in the set. So I can see someone maybe picking C because they get caught up on that. But we have -3, -2, 2, and 4 is the set of all the y coordinates that are represented on this graph. Boom. Domain. All right, I'm looking from left to right. I'm scanning. I see a smallest x coordinate of -5. I'm moving to the right. All of these are represented. There's no jumps, holes, or asymptotes. Represented, all the way up until +5. So it's the set from -5 to +5, including those endpoints, -5 and +5, which is what that less than or equal to does, by the way. So that's going to be our final answer. We're flying through this. Hope I'm not going too fast. What is the range? Y values. Let's hit the head tilt. Boom. And here's your chance. Pause the video. Range is always harder for kids. Hit the head tilt. Pause the video. Identify the correct answer here. I'll show this up. All right. Hopefully you pause the video. You got a correct answer. I could see a kid maybe putting -8 to -4. I see that probably being the most common incorrect answer here for the same reason earlier. We're looking at like these endpoints from this y value to that y value. But it's not those endpoints that determine range. It's the set of all the y coordinates on this entire graph. So instead of looking for these sort of endpoints, quote unquote, we're looking for the smallest y value, right? The smallest y coordinate is -9, and the biggest, which is -2. So we have from -9 to -2, all the numbers between, including the endpoints, and that's going to be the range of this function. Great work. All right, let's show our summary. Boom. And yeah, what I recommend doing is coming here, Algebra 1, Unit 8. Even if you're in Algebra 2 or Pre-Calculus, it's always good to review. Come here, take the unit test. Make sure you know this stuff. Like I said, this is some of the most important stuff in math. If you don't know function notation, features of functions, all this kind of stuff, then you're going to get cooked in later classes. So go practice. Hopefully this inspires you. Leave any questions or comments below. To support me, like the video, hit subscribe, find me on Instagram and TikTok. Do all that stuff, but most importantly, keep flexing those brain muscles. I'll see y'all later. Peace.